Who introduced massive retaliation? Have you ever wondered how the United States decided to respond to threats during the Cold War? The answer lies in a strategy called massive retaliation. This concept was introduced by United States Secretary of State John Foster Dulles in January 1954. In a speech before the Council on Foreign Relations, Dulles made a bold announcement. He stated that the United States would respond to any act of aggression with overwhelming force. This meant using nuclear weapons if necessary, and doing so at places and times of its own choosing. The introduction of massive retaliation marked a significant shift in United States military strategy. Before this, the U.S. relied heavily on maintaining large conventional forces to counter the spread of communism. However, Dulles believed that the threat of nuclear weapons would be a more effective deterrent against communist expansion. The idea was simple. If the Soviet Union or any other communist state attacked, they would face a massive nuclear counterstrike. This policy was developed in response to the perceived threat posed by the Soviet Union and its allies. The Eisenhower administration wanted to make it clear that any attack, whether nuclear or conventional, could lead to a devastating response. By doing this, the United States aimed to discourage any form of aggression, whether it was military action or political subversion. From the perspective of communist countries, massive retaliation was seen as an aggressive and dangerous approach. They interpreted it as a willingness to risk global nuclear war to contain communism. This strategy raised the stakes and increased the risk of catastrophic confrontation. Communist leaders argued that it relied too heavily on nuclear weapons and threatened to destabilize international relations. In practice, massive retaliation influenced U.S. foreign policy throughout the 1950s. It led to increased investment in nuclear weapons and strategic bombers, while conventional forces received less funding. For communist states, this meant that any attempt to expand influence or challenge U.S. allies could trigger a disproportionate response. John Foster Dulles's introduction of massive retaliation was a defining moment in Cold War strategy. It reflected the United States' determination to counter communism with its most powerful weapons. At the same time, it highlighted the risks and tensions of the nuclear age. The doctrine served as a clear signal of U.S. hostility and its willingness to use extreme measures to maintain global dominance.